Hello, welcome to my channel. We all grew up watching movies where characters would freely traverse through 3D virtual worlds. We dreamed of a day where we too would have this kind of freedom. And now this technology has arrived, but nobody wants to touch it. Except for this guy. And let's be honest, he's an evil corporate fuck. So I say this is an opportunity. I say this is a chance for the little guy to make it to the top. A chance for us to make something revolutionary, especially if we work together. The only thing I ask is that when we make it there together, we don't become like them. Never can we become like them. So today I'm gonna teach you how to make mixed reality games in Unreal Engine 5 for completely free with the best technology the world has to offer. By the end of this video, you will have a foundation upon which you can build anything beyond your wildest dreams. And this video is time coded so you can skip around to different parts and you can rewatch parts. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is is that insensitive? I probably shouldn't do that, should I? First thing you want to do is download Unreal Engine. Go into the Epic Games launcher. Probably looks like this for you when you open it. Just click here where it says Unreal Engine and click Engine Versions Plus and install whatever version you would like. Click install. I already have it installed, so I'm not going to do that. That would be stupid if I did that. And then what you want to do is go into the interweb and search Meta XR Unreal Engine plugin and click this shit. Or there will be a link below. Just click the link that says Meta XR. Then you want to make sure that the SDK version that you're going to download matches the UE version that you have. So for example, if you downloaded 5.4, then you're going to want this version. Makes sense, right? Pretty simple. You can do it. You got it. You got it. Come on. Boom. Clap sound of my heart. The beat goes on and on. So once your engine has been downloaded, you're going to want to go into the folder upon which you have downloaded it. For me, it is this folder that says Epic. Yours might say similar. And then go into the engine version that you have downloaded. And then go into engine. And then go into plugins and then marketplace. And then what you're gonna want to do is Control C, copy this directory up here. You following me? You with me? And then go back into your downloads folder, left click, extract files, Control V, paste that directory. Okay, bada bing bada boom. And now you have Meta XR downloaded into your engine. Next we launch Unreal Engine, babe. Create a new project, babe. So we're doing a VR game, so let's use the virtual reality template, babe. I'm just gonna name this mixed reality, babe, tutorial. But you can name yours whatever you want. It's a free country. Thanks to Abraham Lincoln. Now that it's opened up, we go into edit, plugins, search. You could just go right here into virtual reality and you should see Meta XR. Click that, click restart now. And the plugin is now officially installed. So see, this is why we need to take down these evil fuckers. These little warnings like, oh, we collect essential data. They're literally mapping out your house, bro. So I'm gonna let them do it for now, but they're gonna pay for it, alright? Alright, now you got this shit loaded up. Now you gotta do stuff in your headset to make it work. So I'm using a Meta Quest 3. If you have a Quest 2 and you really want to get started right now, so you can just use your Quest 2. It's not a problem. It's literally the exact same. It's just going to be a little uglier, which is fine for developing, for the most part. So next step, we want to create a Meta developer account. I've attached a link below, but essentially you just click on that link and then press sign up right there, and then boom. Sign up for that, go through all that, and then open up the Meta app on your computer. Go into beta. And then by default, it's gonna look like this. You press developer runtime features, pass through over MetaQuest link. Don't need eye tracking, spatial data over Quest link, yes. Yeah, and you should be good. And you're gonna wanna also go into your headset, go into the settings of the headset, search developer in the settings, and then just enable everything. And then go back into the engine here, and then we're going to be changing the project settings real quick, just so that it works. So in the plugin section, scroll down to Meta XR, And then what you're gonna wanna do is keep all this stuff on default. On supported devices, click it 3 times and it's gonna add, you could actually click it 4 times and it's gonna add all these devices so it works with them. Leave all the stuff on default. For hand tracking support, change that to controllers and hands. Hand tracking frequency, change that to high, and you can also change that on your headset itself in the settings, which you should. Hand tracking version, V2, we want the latest version. Check pass-through enabled, anchor support, anchor sharing, scene support. Body tracking, we don't need that. And then we just go into support experimental features and click true. Now what we're gonna wanna do is add in hand tracking. And I already have a full tutorial which will teach you how to do that in 10 minutes. You can skip the second part where I teach you how to create a UI. Unless you wanna learn how to create a UI, it's useful information. That'll be in the link below. Go watch that video and then come back. Alright, welcome back. You should have just finished watching my hand tracking tutorial. I just realized that for whatever reason, every version above version 69 just completely doesn't work at all. So you should already have seen text prompts saying download version 69 and version 5.4 of Unreal Engine, but make sure you use that version, otherwise your hand tracking will not work. And now it's crucial that you go into your headset and you set up your space that you're currently in, because your headset needs to have all of the tracking data of your current room, and it's going to feed this data into Unreal Engine. And I'm going to show you the tools in Unreal Engine that you can use to access that data and build your game around it. Alright, so now let's create a new level in order to do the mixed reality stuff. So I'm just going to call this my room, and let's go into landscape and create, go back to selection and add in a directional light just so you have something in the map. And you might be under your landscape, so just go up a little bit, and there you go. And so before we can actually import our room into the game, first you want to make sure that your game mode override is whatever game mode that you just made. Save that. Go into your game mode, go into Metapon. And in order to import the room that you just mapped out in your headset into Unreal Engine, you just need to use this very simple node called load scene from device async. And what you want to do is go from the success pin, because you want to only move on once you have all that tracking data. You don't want to move on while it's still loading. And what we can also do is initiate pass-through. So let's get pass-through subsystem. So this here is all of the pass-through information coming from the headset. And then we can just say initialize persistent pass-through. Success. And we want it to be underlay. And yeah, that should be good. Compile and save. Now you actually have the data from your room in the engine, at least you should. And the fastest way to test that is just to go into this add button and type anchor actor spawner, drag that into your map. And now when you start your game, a representation of your room should be around you. One thing before you test it out, you're going to want to go into project settings, mixed reality utility kit, and make sure enable world lock is off. It's going to look like this by default, and at least in my case, I'll show you what happens when it's enabled. I just start floating away. So yeah, so if that's happening to you, then just go into project settings, disable world lock. No, it works. So see, you literally have your room in Unreal Engine just like that. My bed is where my bed is, my table is where my table is, my walls are where my walls are, but you can see the window is kind of clipping through the wall, and that's because the window shouldn't be there. The window should be a hole. Shouldn't. So let's fix that by going into the details panel. Make sure that MRUK anchor actor spawner is selected. Dismiss. Go into window frame, fallback to procedural, no fallback, and then go back to cut hole labels, click plus, and then copy window frame. And paste that into the cut hole labels, save, and test it out. And there should be holes cut out where your windows are now. So as you can see now, there's holes in my walls. And out of the holes, you can see that landscape that I created. And I actually have pass-through enabled, so I don't think you can see it, but I can actually see my real physical walls through the window. But yeah, it's working.
What's up, baby? What's up?
Say what's up to the audience. Oh, subscribe for Milky.
Please subscribe, guys. Please subscribe.
Now that our room is loaded into the engine, we can actually customize it and make our game whatever we want it to be. So I'm just going to show you some simple ways to customize your room. What we can do is change the procedural material to whatever we want. Let's make it metal. Do we have metal? Yeah, we have steel. So the walls will be steel and the floor, let's have no floor. And no ceiling. So now the way that the pass-through works is that if you're looking into the empty space, then you're gonna see the pass-through layer. But if there's something in front of the empty space, like this landscape, then you're gonna see that in front of it. So let's actually delete the landscape. And now we should have just our room and pass-through.
So now we've changed our default material into metal. But what if we want to have just the walls be metal, we want the table and the bed and all that stuff to be something else? We can do that.
So let's say we want our table to actually be a treasure chest. We just go into Fab here, search treasure chest, and get a free one. Add it to project. Boom. We have to make a blueprint actor out of it in order to spawn it. So let's make an actor, chest, go in there, open. And we can get our static mesh into the scene. Make it a scene root. And now that we have this actor, we can go into our MRUK actor spawner and let's change our bed into the chest by clicking plus into the array element. And then on actor, you can actually just have it selected on your content browser and click this little arrow here. And that will make it so that, there you go, it's selected. Or you can just click the drop down and search for chest or whatever it is that you named it, select it. So I recommend clicking match aspect ratio, but you want to make sure that your object is already pretty close to the same aspect ratio. Scaling mode, honestly you can play around with it, see what works best for whatever you have. But now let's see what we got.
There you go. Now my bed is a treasure chest. And it's procedural, so whatever room you open this up in, if there's a bed in it, it will be a treasure chest. And you can actually add functionality to this. If you go into the blueprint, you can make it so that you can open the treasure chest, like whatever you want. You can combine it with your hand tracking inputs, and you can make it so you can open up the treasure chest with your hand. You can do yada yada, like the possibilities are endless.
This anchor actor spawner is great for just getting the initial spawns that you want in your room, but you can also get more specific inside of a blueprint using the MRUK subsystem right here, this node. So you can call these nodes, even these two, from any blueprint as long as it's an active blueprint in your world. But I'm doing it from my pawn blueprint because that's going to be activated as soon as the game starts. And so after you've initialized pass-through, what you can do is get MRUK subsystem So this is all the information about your room, about everything basically. Get current room, that's one of the nodes that you're gonna want. And so you can use this node here now to do whatever you want with the room. For example, you can say generate random position in room. And this is just gonna make any position inside of the room. And you can say avoid volumes. And this is just a really easy way to spawn something inside your room. So you can say spawn actor from class. Spawn transform, you just use the out position. Should be fine. Use whatever you want to spawn. So I'm gonna do this thing called Oppie, which is something that just comes from the meta, from one of the samples in the meta showcase.
And so very easily you will see now. Wait, where's Oppie? Oh, there he is. Okay. Well, he should have spawned on the floor, but he actually spawned on my table. But he should be able to move around. I think he's kind of stuck because he's on my table. But let's try to spawn him. Let's try again. Let's see if he spawns on the floor. Okay, he's not on my table. Okay, but he's on my treasure chest. He's looking out the window.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Oh, right, okay. If you want to have characters that move around in your mixed reality world, then you're going to want to add in a nav mesh bounds volume. And what I find works is if you add a player start, that will just make sure that the nav mesh bounds is going to cover your room, and just expand it. And then click here this recast nav mesh default, and find this setting here that says runtime generation. By default it's going to be set to static. Change that to dynamic. Save. And I wonder why he's spawning on... Oh, because we have no floor. Okay, let's get our floor back so that Oppie can spawn on the floor. So to get your floor back, you're just going to want to go into spawn groups, floor, and then default. Fall back to procedural, set that to default, save. Now you got your floor back.
Now Oppie's on the floor, but he's inside of my table. So Oppie is just tweaking today, guys. Oppie is an op. Try it again. He's... There you go, see? Now he can move around my room. And so, like, this is obviously not a finished game. This is just, like, a bunch of stuff showing you that you could make a game. Like, you could make Oppie be a functional character that does stuff. You could make this treasure chest be a functional element that does stuff. You could do so much.
And keep in mind that if you're developing mixed reality games, you're actually pioneering an entirely new medium, which is actually what I'm trying to do as well. I'm developing a mixed reality game set in a similar universe to Mad Max. Let me just give you a quick elevator pitch. The game is going to leverage AI to generate actions and dialogue during runtime.
Where are we?
Some kind of fallout shelter, found it wandering the desert.
Alright, you stupid bastard.
That's it, you asked for it.
Which means that you have sentient NPCs that are aware of what you're saying and doing. Your house is going to be transformed into a huge monster truck that's traversing through the desert wasteland. And you're going to have to do minigame tasks around the house in order to gain XP. Like if your engine breaks down, you're going to have to use your hand tracking to do a minigame where you fix the engine. When your character gets hungry, you have to do a minigame where you cook food, etc, etc. And eventually enemies are going to approach your truck and engage you in battle, in which you're going to have to shoot them and use stuff like that. And but the more enemies that you defeat, the higher XP you get, the more you can upgrade your truck, your weapons, your shield, your defense systems, yada yada yada. And essentially you're going to be traveling through the desert and you're going to meet different tribes. And all the tribes are at war with each other. But because of the AI conversation system, you can actually influence the landscape of the war. So basically, if you meet a tribal chief, you can actually talk to him and convince him to make peace, convince him to go into war, or convince him to do literally anything if you're just good enough. If you make good enough arguments, you can convince him. And it's just hard to explain like how big this idea is, because you know how when you watch game trailers, they're like, you can have a real influence on the game ending. You can have a real influence on what happens. But the real influence is basically just 2 dialogue options that if you choose one, this happens. If you choose one, this happens. This game, the idea that I have, because of AI, for the first time, you can actually have a real influence on the game. Like, you can set out to end the world, and that's what ends up happening because you set out to do it. You can set out to save the world because that's what happened. You can set out to do anything. If you find like a scientist character and you want to make him the king, you can set out to do that. You can make that your quest. You can make that the main quest. You choose the main quest. The idea is just so big that it's hard to talk about it. I'm just gonna blabber on forever about it. So I'm just gonna stop. Check out my previous video where I show off this AI system. And just please subscribe, hit the like, and comment down below what you think of my idea. I'll take any feedback that I can get. Hit the notification bell because you don't want to miss my future tutorials and game updates. I'm gonna change the fucking world and you want to see it, alright? You want to watch. Don't miss out. And if you want to join the Discord and change the world with me, please do. I need help. Join the Discord. Help me out. I'll help you out if you have any questions as well. Just join the Discord. We all have fun. We have a good time. To be honest, it's kind of dead in there, but we're still growing the community, so just join the Discord. Let's make it not dead. Let's make it fun. Let's have fun. Love y'all. Peace out. Mwah.